Hello, I'm Teresa. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me here today. Today's tutorial shows you how to make this lovely set of gel printed coasters. These would make a perfect Christmas gift, Secret Santa, stocking filler, for a crafty friend, or last minute presents really. We're at this time of year, end of November, we haven't got long to go before Christmas, and I know it's been a very strange year this year, and if you're anything like me, it's kind of crept up unexpectedly. But I'm always on the lookout for ideas for quite simple, straightforward gifts that look effective, and this set of coasters would be ideal. So I'm going to move these out of the way, get set up with my gel plate, and I'll show you how easy it is to create them. As always, I'm going to begin by giving you a quick rundown of what we're using today. I'm using my 5x7" gel plate today, my Jelly Arts brand 5x7". Use whatever size you've got. If you use a larger one, that's absolutely fine. If you've only got a very small one, then that will still work for today's project as well, because we're going to be sort of working in sections. So it genuinely does not matter what size plate you've got today. We're going to be using some coasters, and coasters are easily available at most craft stores or online if you can't get to a craft store. I've got a selection here. These ones are MDF, as are these ones here. These ones are made from a thin wood ply, so it really doesn't matter what sort of substrate it is, whether it is actually wood or MDF, as long as it's a nice smooth surface. I'm going to be using some of these square MDF ones for the project today, but have a look at what you can get, what you fancy. If you want to use a different shape, go for it. So you'll need some of those. As always, got a brayer. This is my Speedball rubber brayer. Got a scrap of paper here that I use just for cleaning any excess paint off my brayer between layers. I've got a spray bottle with some water, some paper towel for cleaning up. The paint I'm using today, once again, I'm using some of these Arteza acrylic paints just because I've got them to hand and I want to use them. I want to start trying out all the different colours. But again, any brand of paint, acrylic paint, will work for this. I've decided to go for these nice dual tones. So I've got magenta light, cobalt blue, violet, viridian green and gold. So we're going to be using those. And to make the patterns, I'm going to be using some foam stamps. Now you can buy foam stamps in a shop, or you could make your own. So depending on what you have available to you, there are things like this set here, which is, this was a Tim Holtz Ideology set of floral cling foam stamps, just bold floral and leaf shapes. You might see things like these, the art foamies. So again, this one's just a bold leaf shape. This one, couldn't tell you what brand this is. I've had this for absolutely years, but it's like a seed head or a dandelion seed head design. The set I'm going to be using, I think, for today, these are sort of like retro, sort of geometric shapes. And I'm trying to remember whether they're Claudine Helmuth or not. I could be mistaken. If I do find a reference for what brand these were, I will list it. I'll pop it in the description below or pop a caption up on the screen here. But I'm not entirely sure. Again, had them for a long time. Probably not available actually anymore, these, but that's what I think I'm gonna use today. But say you can't go and buy some, you haven't been able to buy some, you can make your own. Here's a selection of some that I have made previously. So again, just sticking with some quite simple shapes. Now some of these I've used a cutting die to cut the shapes. Some are cut by hand, and basically they're made from, this is just like craft foam that you would find normally in the children's section. Actually, I've stuck two pieces together, I don't know if you can see there, just to make it a little bit thicker, and then cut some shapes out. Now, as I say, some of these, I think these ones and this flower and this heart, these I just used a cutting die to cut them out. And then I've mounted them, this is just on some scraps of foam board. These shapes here, I've literally just cut by hand, cut some stripes, some triangles, this sort of leaf shape, circle, these squares. And as you can see on these two, because we've got the double thickness of the foam, I've actually carved into that to make it even, give it a little bit more detail. And they're just mounted on some sort of stiff mat board, picture mounting board. So easy to make your own if you can't buy them. They don't need to be complicated shapes. Simple shapes will work really, really well, and that they're effective. So I think that's everything we're going to use. The only other thing that we will need will be some varnish to seal the project when we're finished. And I'll just be using this here, this clear Rust-Oleum crystal clear varnish. I like this aerosol one. You could use a brush on varnish. Obviously be aware if you're using a spray aerosol varnish, make sure you're in a well ventilated room, or do it outside because they do smell. But a couple of thin coats of this will just help seal and protect the finished project. So we'll get on with making a start on creating our printed coasters. Now I have just given my MDF coasters a thin coat of white gesso just to seal them. I just applied it with the brayer, white gesso or white acrylic. It'll serve two purposes. One, MDF is quite an absorbent material and does have a tendency to suck the paint in, so it will help sort of seal it. But also because obviously MDF or wood is a darker shade, by just giving it this white layer, it'll help keep your colours a little truer, a little bit more vibrant, rather than they would darken down a bit probably on the MDF. So I've just gone ahead and given these just a thin coat of gesso, let that dry, and now I'm ready to start printing on them. So I'm going to begin by applying some paint to my plate. And I'm going to pop two colours on. I'm going to put one on one side and one on the other. And we'll go ahead and we'll go to create a bit of a base layer for our coasters.
Wish that I could stay in this moment forever, so I can hold you in my arms. I will carry you on my shoulders as long as I'm able. Scare the monsters under your bed. Deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you. You will grow up in the blink of an eye and move out and beyond your own. But no matter what comes your way.
Next up, we're going to move on to a more patterned layer where we're going to use the foam stamps. So again, I'm still going to pop a couple of colours of paint onto my plate. And now I'm going to choose some of my foam stamps. And I'm going to remove some of the paint from the plate using the foam stamps. So stamping it on and then just stamping it off onto my scrap of paper.
I will stay right here beside you to catch you if you fall, and deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you. Deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need, until my heart gives in.
So finally I'm going to add some gold. Just going to pop a bit more on there. And this time I'm going to pick up the paint onto the stamp, but then stamp it onto the coaster. So let's pop my coaster to the side here so you can see. And this will just give us a nice thin even coat of paint on our foam stamp. Pick up a couple of layers if you need to.
I will do everything I can for you.
So once you've done that, if you want to do another layer, go ahead and do another layer. If you're happy with that, leave it at that. I'm going to stop at this point. I'm going to clean all of this up. And as soon as those are dry, I can give them a couple of coats of varnish. Right, I've come back now that my varnish is dry, and to say it's just given a nice protective coating. Really happy with the way that these have turned out, with the layers and, you know, the sort of patchwork effect that we've managed to create, and that little touch with the gold metallic paint, really pretty as well. I've backed my coasters with some felt, just glued on, you know, just some ordinary craft felt, just to really protect a table or something that these would be popped on. So I've just used some Fabri-Tac glue and glued on some felt. You could use a spray adhesive. If you didn't have felt, a thin layer of cork would do, or even if it came to it, just some scrapbook paper, really. It just finishes it off and gives it a nice finish. These, I think, would make an ideal stocking filler or a Secret Santa gift. Just, you know, pop them together, tie them with a bit of ribbon. This is a bit of sari ribbon that I've got. But, you know, just bundle them up tie it in a little bow, pop a gift tag on, and you know, that's a lovely little present for somebody in the run up to Christmas. Always on the lookout for easy ideas for small stocking fillers for crafty friends. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you again soon. Bye.
Wish that I could stay